What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to Hunting Platinum. Today we're gonna get Sly Cooper 2 Band of Thieves as Platinum.
Carmelita's just as angry
Hopefully
as ever.
that the audio
She's
actually
really quite
takes.
lovely
I
when
did
she's
the
angry.
entire video and then realized that my
Constantly
mic was on mute, so
Was
now
it
I gotta
reference
do
to the
everything
claw
all over
games
again.
to skip over time,
So,
or an intentional
second time's a charm.
Either way, it's her only
Here's
lead
just the
on the missing
prelude
clockwork parts.
and the setup for the game.
He was
Just kind of
consumed
going
with
over
jealousy for
the
Cooper
Thieves
clan's
Raccoonus,
thieving
who
reputation.
Clockwork was,
Is it inappropriate to refer
what
to him as a
happened in the
monster?
first game, really,
No, not at
and the
all.
fact that we
What kind
got
of
him. If you
person
haven't
stays alive for
seen
hundreds
that
of
video,
years
I
with
am
the
gonna
express
remaster
intention of wiping out a
my
rival's
Sly
family
Cooper
line?
Thieves Raccoonus Platinum, but that's neither here nor there. Anyway, enjoy episode 1's setup.
I had to call in a few favors to get the goods on the Claw Gang's local operator. Dimitri, a sort of underworld celebrity, equally at home in high-class art circles and shady back-alley crimes. He was once a passionate young art student who worked hard to develop his own visionary style. Unfortunately, the art world wasn't quite ready for his kinetic aesthetic.
Alright, now that we got episode 1 set up, we're going to open up the first vault. Knock them out is for getting the knockout dive move. This is the vault in episode 1, the Black Chateau. There are 30 clues in every episode. Collect all of them, find the vault. Bentley will tell you the code, open them up, bada bing, bada boom. You're good to go. Alright, and every single vault, I should say, does have a trophy tied to it. Now, those silver cases that you just see me bust open is tied to this trophy right here, a monetary briefing where you have to destroy a bunch of those cases and collect. You don't have to collect the coins, but I highly recommend that you do. It's going to help for later on. Here's a much better location for this trophy. I just so happened to get the trophy where you saw me pop it, but this is a much easier area. It's like 5 of them there. If you just go to the safe house once or twice and farm that area, then it'll pop very easy, very quick. Don't you love when a plan comes together? This is for collecting the clockwork tail feathers and defeating Dimitri at the episode 1's finale. Again, episode 1 being the Black Chateau. Here's the getaway and the setup coming up here after this trophy. Let me shine you. This is where you have to go back to the club and destroy the DJ records there. I don't know if it has to be after completing to be sure if you could do it the first time around, but if you know, let me know down in the comments. This is I'm Going Insane. This is for the vault in episode 2. Yeah, I didn't feel like reconstructing the video, so we're just gonna kind of roll with it. So here comes the getaway and the actual setup. Enjoy.
My gang and I had done it. The clockwork tail feathers were ours, and Dimitri's counterfeiting operation was ruined. Due to the untimely arrival of Carmelita, my escape got a little tricky. Angry at having just missed me, she took it out on Dimitri. Another clockwork part had surfaced in India, so the boys and I loaded up the van and zeroed in on our next target, a mysterious spice lord known as Rajan. A self-made man who grew up poor on the streets of Calcutta, he started his life of crime selling illegal spices in the black market, eventually growing his small outfit to a sizable operation, and earning himself a seat in the prestigious Claw Gang. He's since crowned himself Lord of the Hills, and while he goes to great lengths to convince others of his royalty, it's mostly to convince himself. True to...
Alright, now we're moving right along with Savor the Moment. This is for completing episode 2 because I missed every single trophy the first time around going through it, and I was like, wait a minute, that doesn't necessarily seem right, but I moved on anyway. I was like, I'll come back to it later. It's a shocker is getting the vault in episode 3. Alright, we're gonna go ahead and just keep on trucking along. We'll come back to the episode 2 trophies, don't you worry. But speaking of, here's a different trophy coming up. Sleight of Hand. This is for collecting 5 of those items that you could sell on the thief net without being spotted by a guard. So you gotta look for 5 of the shiny pockets, get them without being spotted by anyone, you're good to go. Alright, one and done. This is for using the Flame Fist to take out an enemy in one hit. It will always be one hit, no matter who it is, except for bosses like Rajan, for example. Bollywood will have to wait. This is for completing episode 3, where Neela turns on the Cooper gang, arrests Sly and Murray, and Inspector Fox, turning them over to the Contessa. Here's the getaway and setup for episode 4, Jailbreak. Enjoy.
I had to face the facts. Neela had betrayed us, my teammates were captured, and I was all alone. While intellectually inferior, Sly and Murray had always been a rich source of sociological interest. The long walk out of the jungle gave me time to reflect, and with each passing step, my sense of isolation grew. Shockingly, my comrade's absence had a profound emotional effect on me. This was it. This was the true test of friendship. Upon reaching the van, my resolve was hardened. I had to save my friends. But first things first, I had to learn how to drive a stick shift. It took a sleepless week of data crunching, but I eventually tracked down the location of my friends, locked away in the mysterious towers of Prague. At the moment, they are the unwilling guests of Interpol's most renowned prison warden, the Contessa. While still a criminal psychology student, she entered into a whirlwind romance and married a wealthy aristocrat. Sadly, the union was short-lived, as the general suspiciously died a few weeks after the ceremony. The widowed Contessa put her education and newly acquired estate to work by opening a criminal rehabilitation center.
Alright, so here we go. We're opening the vault here on episode 4. Go long. This is for getting the long toss move from the Contessa. Alright, we're going to go ahead and move right along, rolling right along. Next coming up is Thank You Wizard. This is for completing episode 4, Bentley Rescues the Gang. This was an amazing episode, very tense, especially early on, because you are Bentley the entire time. So enjoy the getaway and set up for episode 5.
It was great. The gang had been reunited and it was all because of me. Even the van ride out of town was like a party. Murray had to pull over twice because he was laughing so hard. But despite all the jokes, I think something had changed. Since childhood, the three of us had never been apart, and our recent isolation gave us all pause for thought. Needless to say, we took a few weeks off before getting back to work. And for the first time in my life, Murray let me drive.
Time for a little payback. The Contessa, having escaped us in the prison, is now hiding out in her castle estate. It's a well-fortified Gothic nightmare that would make any thief run in terror. Terrible or not, that's where we're headed. To sweeten the deal, we've learned that the Contessa, who until recently was a secret member of the Claw Gang, is in possession of the Clockwork Eyes. The Thieves Raccoonist describes the eyes stopping opponents dead in their tracks, transfixed in their gaze. It doesn't take a genius to figure out what an accomplished hypnotist could do with such powerful artifacts.
Alright, we're going to open up the vault here. You're just forgetting the Rage Bomb. This is going to be tied to another trophy later on down the line. This is getting episode 5's vault on out of the way. Eye on the prize is for collecting the Clockwork Eyes. And Oh, well, I should say, well, yeah, you do get eyes, but in this case, to end the actual mission, you only need the one eye. So you defeat the Contessa for the second time, you move right along. Here's the episode 5 getaway and episode 6
Things hadn't
setup.
gone exactly to plan,
Enjoy!
but the Contessa was beaten, and the Clockwork Eyes were finally mine. The Contessa was arrested and brought to trial for the crime she committed while working for Interpol. Their PR damage control went one step further by promoting Nila, the hero of Prague, to the rank of captain. Carmelita, still on the outs with Interpol, had to run with the rest of us. To my surprise and eternal delight, I got to help my favorite policewoman escape from the cops.
Following the trail of spice shipments, we made our way up to Nunavut Bay, Canada, the secret hub of Jean Bisson's shipping empire. As a young man, he trekked across Canada to strike it rich during the gold rush of 1852. An avid prospector, he took some chances and ended up buried alive in an avalanche. Miraculously, the quick freeze kept him alive, and 120 years later, thanks to global warming, he thawed out. A product of his time, he dreams of taming the wild north, damming every river and chopping down all the trees, with progress delivered at the sharp end of an axe.
Now, I couldn't not show this because it was just so epic. So, in episode 6, he who tames the Iron Horse, this is going to be one of the missions. You're going to have to get a whole bunch of the spice gas and then drop onto the caboose. I did that beautifully. I just had to show that off. It is so much fun getting some of these epic trick shots for a shot. There's Bentley just being a super awesome badass. I also did check in this episode because I was curious in case anybody else was wondering. Only Sly can open the vault. Speaking of the vault, let's open the next one. It's a sleeper hit. This is going to come in handy in episode 7 for another trophy. This, though, I believe is episode 6's. If not 7's, we're about to find them here. And who cares? You just gotta open that vault. You'll get them. Just keep opening the vaults, you'll get them. So here for Nila, we finally get to take revenge. Look at that. Look at that. That's what she gets for turning on us. That's what she gets. You know what I'm saying?
That was some fancy flying.
Oh yeah, check this out.
Whatever you say, poodle.
Bentley's sarcasm is honestly gold in that. I had to stop and record that. Heist on Rails is for completing episode 6, He Who Tames the Iron Horse. You're going to get 3 clockwork parts altogether in this episode, the 2 lungs and the stomach. Just moving right along here, we're going to set up for episode 7. Enjoy.
We'd successfully robbed all of John Bisson's Iron Horse trains, and we were walking away with 3, count them, 3 clockwork parts. And as a bonus, we shut down spice distribution in all of North America. Needless to say, we were pretty pleased with ourselves. Can't say the same for Carmelita. Once again, the framed policewoman had to run from the cops, which was fun at first, but I'm starting to feel a little sorry for her. I mean, what if they replace Carmelita with someone else? I don't want another cop on my tail. She's a big part of why this is all fun. Sooner or later, I'm gonna have to figure out a way to clear her name, some way other than turning myself in. Things just weren't right up in Canada. Random acts of violence were popping up like weeds, and the Northern Lights, well, they just weren't right. One night they'd be brighter than ever, and the next, gone. In Nunavut Bay, I overheard talk between Jean Bisson and his mysterious partner Arpeggio. Somehow, those two are behind it all. Tracking the source of the disturbance was easy. By simply following the lights, we were led north to an immense lumber camp. The sheer number of fallen trees advertised Jean Bisson's presence and that he was in possession of the clockwork talons. The Thievius Raccoonus makes numerous references to the talons slicing through plates of steel.
Alright, so moving into episode 7 here, we're going to start a little bit different. There's nowhere to go. This is for destroying a bunch of the porta potties that are around episode 7. There's always going to be the 3 here, right in back of the Cooper Gang house. So just go ahead and destroy them over and over again. You'll get the trophy.
Is the conduit for collecting the northern lights. We need to shut it down, or the silo battery will continue to fill with energy, making it impossible for us to stow away inside.
So, you want me to go in there and bust the thing up? Sounds like work for Murray.
Actually, this job will require...
Here's the little funny thing. Sly loses his hat randomly when you're talking in the binocular sometimes. It just looks really goofy, really funny. I want to shut it off. Shocking moves is for getting episode 7's vault open. Honestly, this is one of the best moves in the game. 7 and 8 really provide the best moves, I'm not going to lie. Speaking of the ending of episode 7 here, is this the end of the Cooper Gang? You've really got to check it out. It is nuts what happens, and the fact that the plan very narrowly works, if you can even call it that. Enjoy this setup for episode 8.
And then, we felt it. We were being lifted up to arpeggios blimp. It was all so strange. The focus of all our schemes had been stolen from us. Our clockwork parts were gone. Looking around the inside of the battery, I knew we all felt it. Failure. I was twitchy and ready for action. Any action. Bentley tried to make some sense of the situation by drawing up meaningless plans. But Murray took it the worst. He just sat there sobbing while the team van floated away over the horizon. That van was his life. I knew I'd have to find a way to make it up to him.
Alright, so we're going to go ahead and pop open that final vault, Devious Sneakus. This is for getting the final vault, the Shadow Power Vault, the vault in episode 8. This is easily one of the best moves. Allows you to move completely undetected, even when standing in front of the flashlight guards. As long as you're visible, they can't see you. You can steal omelet those eggs. You have to destroy a whole bunch of them that are floating around the ship, and it'll eventually pop up. You can probably spam the same spot, go back to that gang house, come back out. No challenge too daunting for the Cooper Gang. This is for collecting every single gadget that is available on the Thief Net. Now, speaking of the Thief Net, one of the worst trophies had to do with it, but we're going to come up to that here shortly, not right now. Victory, but at what cost? This is for defeating Klakla and beating the game.
And there we were, at the end.
So, the game says that's it, and we've seen everything, right? Yeah, we know we won. It's a bittersweet one. Go outside. Nah. We got trophies to get. Let's continue. Sky Turtle, this is back in episode 2 with Rajan's Palace. You just got to get to the top of it with Bentley. As you'll see here, I'll show you the front sky. Boom. Beautiful. And also in episode 2, Honorary Cooper, you take a guard, bring him to the safe house as Murray. No, you cannot sell the guard on a Thief Net. I did look, as you can see here at the end of this video. I did try to take a look, but you can't sell. Hidden Wealth, you gotta destroy more of those, yeah, you see how I got them there? The silver briefcases. There's going to be a few hidden behind walls. I believe that's episode 5. Not 100% sure, though. Ancient Century, this is back in episode 2. You got, or actually, no, sorry, that other one was also, this is all episode 2. 3. After the RC mission in episode 2, that it becomes available to use. Again, you have to defeat a whole bunch of enemies with the RC choppers minigun, basically. Their Wisdom of Chaos is for using the health extractor on a guard. Here we got Gone But Not Forgotten. This is in the crypt in episode 4, Jailbreak. You have to destroy all these a second time after the original mission, and then do exactly what I just did. Position yourself the way I positioned you. Not positioned you, but you know what I mean. I want to show you guys. So, like I was saying with the Rage Bomb, it was going to come important. This is where it becomes important. As you can see here, it is kind of tough. You have to kind of get them all in the middle, and you have to group them and then hit them with the rage bomb, and it's kind of hope that they don't go toward the corner like they do in my video. They don't go toward the corner. Um, and you can see here that they're all just going to start beating each other up. You're going to have to use maybe like 2 or 3 rage bombs to keep repeating that process until all of them but one are standing, and then the trophy's going to pop. It does take a minute. It is a little bit tedious. It can be a bit stressful too, I'm not gonna lie, especially like you see me screw up with the rage bomb, because they might hear that and come over to investigate and then catch you, which then defeats the purpose of trying to go for the trophy. Blind with rage, see, as you can see here, there's one left, boom, and there we go, blind with rage, all the original guards defeated in this room. So let's go to the next one, because that was super easy. I did this first shot, as you can see. Fear the Murray is for defeating this bear here. I did the first shot, no issues. You can't take any damage. I obviously didn't take any damage. That bear couldn't damage me no matter how hard he tried. Not resting until I have Cooper. With the music box, like I said earlier, it was tied to a trophy. This is the trophy. You have to throw the music box at Carmelita. She will just run away. She is not otherwise affected by the music box. Attack of the Giant Bentley is for using the size destabilizer on a group of guards, which then, as you can see, they make turn them into Bentley size. I did that on episode 6. Master Thief, I had to replay the entire game. You have to just constantly pickpocket, get every single piece of loot possible. I did this all the way up till episode 7. I believe it was somewhere in episode 7 that I missed. I just had an itch. I was like, you know what? Let me just go for it. So I sold literally everything on a whim and got the platinum. But just keep getting literally every single thing. Make lists so you know. Use this video as help until you get to episode 8. Then you just got to get the last 3. But anyway, subscribe and I'll see you next week with Sly.